You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna take it. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Kevin Hart was on the Pivot Podcast, dope show. And as you see, in the description, there's a part of the show where he was talking about how us as black people, we're horrible at maintaining good relationships so we can help build our legacy and also help build other black people build upon their legacy just by having a relationship of, hey, whatever you need from me, I got you, I'm here, just let me know, we'll figure it out. And it's like, because the ego is getting away. And I thought about it because it makes a lot of sense. And you've constantly hear successful people talking about like being their own island, and like Kevin Hart was talking about, he has a team of a few guys, few core people. He said Jay-Z has a team of a few core people. LeBron James has a team of a few core people. But in general, I think people look at it as you have successful people with a bunch of people who latch on, and you're taking care of a bunch of people who aren't necessarily a team that's trying to make everything bigger and better so everybody can grow and eat. Because one thing he said, it's not cool, it's not fun being rich by yourself. So what I've noticed as he was talking, sometimes I think what we do is we have a hard time with egos, because what if somebody's bigger than you? Can you still say, man, hey, this is what I offer. I know you're bigger than me, but it's all good. I still got love for you. I still respect you. If you ever need something from me, even though I'm smaller than you, in a status sense, I'm still here. And if somebody's bigger, can they say, hey, I know you're smaller than me, but I like what you're doing. If you need something from me, just holler. And, I learned a great deal, and that's all I always show love to O'Shea, right? O'Shea Duke Jackson, because he works with everybody. He tells you to get a team, or he'll say, hey man, if you need to use my team, blah, blah, blah. He's always been that, and kudos to a person like that, and kudos to the success he has. And I think one of the things people don't want to talk about is a lot of us, we want to get to a certain spot so we can tell everybody F you, and I got my F you money, and I'm gonna burn all these bridges because I want to be by myself. And the one thing about that is sometimes when you get accustomed to that thought process, you burn bridges that could have built you buildings. And that was probably a deep little saying just now. I'm gonna just give it to myself for that. But you burn bridges that could have built buildings. And we're bad with that. Because I saw something or listened to something earlier where a guy was cussing at Tariq Nasheed. Why don't you do this for me? And why don't you this? Why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? And he's like, why don't you do it? And the guy didn't really want to say anything. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I know why successful people isolate themselves, but from people who aren't successful. But the question is, why do you isolate yourselves from people who are successful and not even in the same field? Like you over there, that's what networking is. And I know, we're behind the eight ball, and we're even as black men, I would say we're the worst at networking. I think the ladies got us beat on that. I think all the other groups got us beat on that. Excuse me. When we think of the best networks that we can have, we think of people who either were in the streets or act like or portray like they're in the streets. They're better networkers. They're better at working even with degenerates. You get what I'm saying? So Kevin Hart has a point. Like, he has a point. And I think, this is one thing that we kind of constantly have to strive to fix, because we don't support each other like we say we do. Even on these platforms, it's hard to get you to like the videos. It's hard to get you to share the videos. It's hard to get you to say word of mouth. You get what I'm saying? And if somebody's successful, you got people who like, man, why isn't that me? Why can't I be that? Instead of congratulating somebody, we like to yank them down. You know what I mean? The first time they have a hiccup in life, it's like F them. It's over with. It's over for you. But what happens when those people go back up? Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. How many bridges were burned by people who were taking shots at Kevin, but at some point are going to work with the guys who were cool with Kevin, who had been in the space with Kevin for years? You think you're just going to be able to go, because some of these other guys are going to ascend. It's like, oh yeah, I would like to work with you. It's like, bro, you burnt that bridge when you was doing all this. Well, Kevin, I didn't know you knew him. Yeah, I knew him. I had immense respect for him. I can't respect what you did, and I can't work with that. But we're accustomed to just throwing a brother under the bus, and it's unfortunate, and we got a lot of work to do on that. So that's why I make this video the way I made it. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch you on the next one. Peace.